Deep within the silent vacuum of the Oort cloud, a ripple of ancient energy distorts the fabric of space. A massive silhouette, darker than the void itself, glides silently past frozen planetesimals. Voyager 1 continues its lonely trek, its instruments humming with the faint rhythm of a distant home. Suddenly, the probe's sensors register a localized gravitational spike that defies all known physics. A colossal golden horn glowing with the heat of 1,000 stars enters the frame. With a casual flick of its tail, the behemoth shatters the human probe into 1,000,000 shimmering fragments. The golden record carrying the sounds of Earth spins uselessly into the abyss. The beast turns its massive head, its glowing eyes locking onto the distant spark of the sun. For 30,000 years, it has wandered the cold desert of the galaxy, dreaming of its birthplace. The star behemoth accelerates, folding space around its massive form to breach the inner solar system. At the International Space Observation Center, a technician notices a massive error on his monitor. He rubs his eyes, thinking the massive thermal signature moving past Saturn must be a glitch. Within seconds, alarms begin to blare across the facility as secondary telescopes confirm the data. Something is coming. The lead astronomer whispers, her face turning pale as the trajectory is calculated. The target is unmistakable, a direct path toward the blue marble of Earth. The United Nations Security Council is convened in an emergency midnight session. Generals argue that it must be an undetected asteroid from the Sirius star system. But no asteroid possesses 9 tails of fire that leave a trail of burning plasma in its wake. Amateur astronomers across the globe point their lenses upward, capturing blurry images of a golden stream. Social media erupts with grainy footage of the celestial intruder, sparking mass hysteria in the cities. The behemoth ignores the primitive chatter of the humans, focusing only on the spiritual pulse of the planet. It can feel the ancient treasures buried deep within the mountains, calling out to its empty core. Behind it, miles away in the dark, the faint silhouettes of the Sirius clan pursuit ships begin to emerge. The beast slows its descent, deliberately allowing the humans to see its terrifying majesty. In the Han's Empire, military radars lock onto a target moving at Mach 20 toward the central province. Fighter jets are scrambled from every base, their pilots unaware they are flying toward a god. The Empire's defense minister declares that any meteor will be intercepted before it touches the soil. High above them, the star behemoth lets out a silent roar that vibrates the very crust of the Earth. Clouds are blasted away in a 1,000-mile radius as the creature enters the stratosphere. Atmospheric pressure sensors across Asia record a spike so high it breaks the instruments. The sky over the Kunlun Mountains turns a bruised purple as the beast descends. A formation of 12 Raptor jets engages the target, firing a volley of missiles into the glowing cloud. The missiles detonate harmlessly against an invisible barrier of cosmic energy. The pilots scream as their electronics fail, their cockpits filling with static and golden sparks. With a simple wave of a wing, the behemoth sends the squadron spiraling toward the Earth like broken toys. The beast isn't here to fight, it is here to feed and grow. On the ground, monks in a secluded monastery fall to their knees, recognizing the ancient prophecy of the Sky Devourer. The creature's size is now visible to the naked eye, a mountain of flesh and gold hanging in the air. It begins to shrink its form, compressing its massive energy into a more manageable juvenile shape. The massive object vanishes from the radar just as it touches the highest peak of the Han's Empire. Silence falls over the mountain, but the sensors at the base of Mount Fuji, thousands of miles away, suddenly twitch. Deep beneath the Japanese soil, something ancient and blue is waking up in response to the behemoth's arrival. The star behemoth has landed, and the first course of its feast is already waiting. But it is not alone, for the hunters from the stars have just breached the moon's orbit. As the world prepares for war against a monster, they have no idea that the real predators haven't even landed yet. The atmospheric shell of Earth glows a violent crimson as the massive entity pierces the stratosphere. Far below in the Han's Empire, radar screens at the Kunlun monitoring station begin to scream with frantic alerts. A high-altitude surveillance satellite rotates its lens to capture a nightmare manifest in scales and fire. The star behemoth lashes out with a single golden horn, sending a pulse of electromagnetic energy that fries the satellite's circuits instantly. Instead of a catastrophic impact, the beast spreads its 9 flaming tails to decelerate with impossible grace. Its red-gold eyes scan the jagged terrain of the mountains for a suitable place to begin its recovery. The creature touches down on a frozen plateau with the silence of a falling feather. Steam rises from the beast's black gold scales as they cool against the thin, freezing mountain air. 5 kilometers away, a Han's Empire Special Forces unit maneuvers through the rocks with high-tech stealth gear. The squad leader whispers into his comms that the target is stationary and seemingly vulnerable. A low, vibrating growl from the behemoth causes the very bedrock of the plateau to tremble. One soldier notices that his compass and electronic rangefinder have completely ceased to function. The star behemoth turns its head, sensing the biological heat signatures of the intruder. The Special Forces team deploys an experimental sonic disruptor to paralyze the massive beast. A high-pitched screech echoes through the valley, irritating the juvenile beast's sensitive ears. Annoyed by the buzzing insects, the behemoth swings one of its 9 tails like a colossal whip. The impact of the tail turns the soldiers' reinforced cover into a cloud of fine dust and shrapnel. Survivors of the initial strike scramble backward, firing their rifles in a futile show of defiance. The bullets bounce off the beast's scales like rain hitting a diamond shield. With a sudden burst of speed, the star behemoth closes the distance, its massive shadow engulfing the men. The squad leader realizes too late that they aren't fighting an animal, but a godlike sovereign. A single breath of golden flame incinerates the entire plateau, leaving nothing but scorched earth behind. The silence that follows is heavier than the blizzard itself. The behemoth feels the strain of its 30,000-year journey and the hunger gnawing at its core. It must find a source of concentrated spiritual energy to jumpstart its evolution to the next stage. Far away, the Sirius clan assassins are already entering the solar system following the trail of cosmic dust. The star behemoth leaves a deliberate trace of its golden energy in the Kunlun peaks as a lure. Its instincts pull it toward the east, where a powerful signature of life energy pulsates from the island of Japan. Satellite feeds from around the world try to track the heat signature, but it vanishes into the sea. Beneath the waves, the beast moves with the speed of a torpedo, disturbing the deep-sea currents. It spots a massive blue whale and decides to take a momentary detour for a snack. The surge of fresh biological energy briefly satiates the monster's burning stomach. It resurfaces near the coast of the Auburn Kingdom, its presence causing massive tidal waves. The target is now clear. The dormant volcano of Mount Fuji holds the treasure it requires. Deep within a secret lab at the base of the volcano, alarms begin to sound for a different reason. The spirit grass is reacting to the approach of the star behemoth, its leaves vibrating with resonance. The behemoth lets out a roar that shatters the windows of the coastal cities as it approaches land. Military jets are scrambled, but they look like mere gnats compared to the approaching Titan. The world is about to witness a level of destruction that no human weapon can stop. As the beast reaches the foot of the mountain, a strange ancient seal on its forehead begins to glow with an ominous black light. The black seal on the behemoth's forehead pulses with a rhythmic dark light that seems to swallow the surrounding air. With a single explosive thrust of its massive wings, the creature launches itself into the freezing atmosphere. It levels out above the clouds, its 9 tails trailing behind like streaks of falling stars against the night sky. The beast turns its gaze eastward, sensing the rich spiritual energy radiating from the distant islands of Auburn. Below, the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean churns under the pressure of the creature's supersonic wake. A massive shadow suddenly darkens the water as the beast slows its flight to a predatory hover. Beneath the surface, a majestic blue whale glides through the depths, unaware of the celestial hunter above. The behemoth plunges into the ocean like a falling spear, creating a vertical pillar of white foam. Under the waves, the beast's golden scales glow with an inner fire that illuminates the abyss. With a swift strike of its talons, the predator claims its prize, the whale's struggle ending in an instant. The beast consumes the essence of the Leviathan, its own injuries from the Sirius clan ambush beginning to knit together. Re-energized by the feast, the dragon-like entity erupts from the sea and shakes the salt water from its wings. The snow-capped peak of Mount Fuji appears on the horizon, glowing like a beacon in the early morning light. Avoiding the radar nets of the Orban Defense Forces, the creature glides low through the mountain's forests. It stops before a massive steel door hidden behind a waterfall, sensing the concentrated energy within. Inside the facility, alarms blare as scientists watch their monitors turn red with impossible energy readings. The behemoth doesn't wait for permission, simply breathing a stream of black fire that melts the reinforced steel like wax. It walks into the tunnel, its heavy footsteps vibrating through the entire mountain's foundation. Automated turrets emerge from the ceiling and open fire, peppering the beast's scales with high-caliber rounds. The creature barely acknowledges the attack, swiping a wing to crush the weapons into scrap metal. In the heart of the base, the beast finds the Eternal Lotus, a plant pulsing with blue cosmic radiation. The star behemoth leans down, its nostrils flaring as it breathes in the ancient familiar scent of the treasure. With a delicate bite, it consumes the lotus, and a wave of pure energy ripples out from its body. Its juvenile form begins to shift, its horns growing longer and more intricate as it absorbs the Earth's hidden power. The scientists watch in horror as their life's work is consumed by a creature they cannot comprehend. Suddenly, the behemoth's ears twitch as it detects a familiar, hateful frequency coming from deep space. The Sirius clan scouts have arrived in the solar system, falling right into the trap he set near Jupiter. The beast lets out a low guttural growl that vibrates the very tectonic plates beneath the mountain. It turns and begins its ascent back to the surface, leaving the ruined base in its wake. Breaking through the side of Mount Fuji, the creature stands atop a jagged cliff, silhouetted against the morning sky. It spreads its wings wide, casting a shadow over the cities below as if claiming the entire world as its territory. A fleet of Orban fighter jets screams toward the mountain, their missiles locked onto the massive target. The behemoth simply flicks one of its 9 tails, creating a gust of wind so powerful it sends the jets spinning out of control. It is no longer a guest on this planet, it is the master returning to its throne. The beast remembers the days when humanity was nothing but primitive tribes worshipping its ancestors. It will not allow the Sirius clan to desecrate this world as they did the others in the far reaches of the galaxy. The spirit of the Earth itself seems to thrum beneath its claws, acknowledging the return of its greatest protector. Its strength has returned, and the hunt for the interstellar invaders is about to begin in earnest. The creature looks up one last time, seeing the faint glimmer of the enemy ships entering the atmosphere. As the first enemy ship explodes in a ball of flame above the clouds, the star behemoth lets out a roar that signals the end of the human era and the beginning of the Age of Gods.